it's a little suspect, but I think with the offense they have, and I just think that they're going to be good.
Okay.
So,
and before we go
ahead.
Since I'm marking all of these down.
Go
Eric,
for it.
What's the Pirates' record this year?
I'm just going to – my math is bad. I will tell you they're going to win 68 games.
68 games, okay.
68 games.
I'll mark it down.
All right, so this Saturday is the Beaver County Maple Syrup Festival. Eric McKenney, you will be doing your show live from out there, as well as Jim Taddeo will be doing Jim Taddeo's hometown out there. And Eric, tell us a little bit about your show. You got about a minute here. Tell us about your show, buddy.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about some preparations in regards to listing your home. We have talked a lot about buyers the last couple of weeks, and this week we're going to talk about listing your home because we are imploring you as realtors to list your homes, friends. Our inventory is so low. We're looking for homes. We have all these buyers running around and no properties to sell. So keys to consider when you think about listing your home and why you should bring a realtor in early in the process.
Go on out. They'll be at the Beaver County Maple Syrup Festival at Brady's Run Park, starting with the Saturday Sports Slam, 8 a.m. And then Eric McKenna will be 12 to noon, or 10 to 12. I guess 12 to noon is the same time. 10 to 12, and then Jim Taddeo from 12:30 to 1:30, all live. And then Diane Brocious, Matt Durzik from 1:30 till 4 o'clock on Saturday. Greg, thank you for coming in today. Matt, thank you. Eric, thank you.
You're
most welcome.
Thanks, Frank.
And thank you to Robert's Roadside Inn for a great lunch today here on Beaver County Radio. Go Bucks, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge. Time for the Noonday Report.
Agnew in Washington. President Trump is praising the state of the nation's economy at the annual White House Easter egg roll.
You look at the economy, you look at what's happening. Nothing's ever easy, but we have never had an economy like we have right now, and we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger.
The president spoke briefly to hundreds of guests on the South Lawn, pointing to what he called a special year for the country and progress for the economy. An aide to Russian President Vladimir Putin says that President Trump has invited the Russian leader to the White House. Here's correspondent Linda Kenyon.
The invitation reportedly came during a telephone conversation between President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin on March 20th. During that phone call, President Trump congratulated President Putin on winning the Russian election on March 18th. The White House says also at that time the two discussed meeting in person. A date for the meeting has not been set.
The invitation was extended before the U.S. joined Britain and several other nations condemning Russia over the nerve agent poisoning of a Russian ex-spy and his daughter in England. The Supreme Court has handed a big win to the nation's 18,000 car dealerships. For more on that, we go to correspondent Wally Hines on Capitol Hill.
The court ruled those dealerships don't have to pay overtime to service advisors, the employees that greet you and assess your service needs. The case involved a Mercedes-Benz dealer in California where the service advisors had argued that they should be paid overtime. The court sided with the dealership and ruled those advisors are exempt from overtime requirements.
Correspondent Wally Hines. A 20-year-old Texas man who, as a teenager, invoked a so-called affluenza defense after killing 4 people in a drunken driving accident has now been released from jail in Tarrant County, Texas. Ethan Couch was 16 years old back in June of 2013 when he struck and killed 4 pedestrians. A psychologist at his manslaughter trial blamed his irresponsibility on family wealth, dubbing it the affliction of affluenza. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For a free quote, call 800-523-3771. That's 800-523-3771. 800-523-3771. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
A quarterly business outlook survey by Japan's central bank shows corporate sentiment has worsened for the first time in 2 years.
The Bank of Japan's index for large manufacturers was 24 in March, down 2 points from December. The forecast continued to be pessimistic, with the index expected to fall to 20 over the next quarter. The reading still shows optimists outnumber pessimists, but the difference is starting to shrink. A looming U.S.-China trade war after President Trump's tariffs and China's action in response could further hurt the Japanese economy.
That's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. The Persian Gulf island nation of Bahrain says it has discovered the largest oil field since the country's first oil well began operation nearly 90 years ago. The government said yesterday the new resource is, quote, understood to dwarf Bahrain's current reserves. Details about the initial findings of the size and extraction viability are set to be released by the oil ministry at a news conference later this week. Breaking news at townhall.com. China has done it, imposed tariffs of up to 25% on 128 U.S. imports, including pork and wine, after President Trump raised duties on foreign steel and aluminum imports.
When President Trump announced a plan to impose tariffs on imported steel and aluminium, the country's trade partners were quick to warn of retaliation and legal action in the World Trade Organization. China is now striking back with additional tariffs of up to 25% on 128 products from the U.S.
That's BBC's Andrew Walker reporting. The National Transportation Safety Board says it's unhappy about Tesla's decision to release information in a fatal crash investigation involving its autopilot system. A vehicle using the semi